Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Little Lady Reviews, where I'm committed to trying new things every single day. Today, I'm going to be completing a follow-up video to my experience on blind date love and first date, which I went on to pursue love. I'm going to first start by answering some of the basic questions that some of you guys wanted to know, and then we're going to end this series on a high note. Please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video to see more things like this, and also to see what other concepts I will be coming up with. Please also follow me on TikTok and on my Instagram channel, which I will link at the bottom below. So let's get right into it. So as some of you may know, I went on a dating show in search of love. I have been single for a while. I am purposely dating for marriage and some type of commitment from someone who is genuinely interested in me. So I went onto this show in hopes of finding my husband. Basically, this guy had been on the show before and he had matched with two other women but did not succeed for whatever reason. So the host of the show and the production crew decided to give him his own show to only cast women who were interested in only him. So I saw the post, I submitted my information, they reached out to me and let me know, ask me some questions first to see if I will be a good fit. And I confirmed my interest in meeting this guy. They told me to go ahead and book my flight, and that would be my confirmation, and that would solidify my spot in meeting a man that I was interested in. So in that moment, I wasn't quite aware how many women were interested in this guy that I was signing up to meet. Everything kind of just happened, and I was really excited to be a part of the experience. A lot of people in the comments said that I was trying to be a pick-me-sha or that I was desperate, but I actually really wasn't. Like, I have 5 brothers. Actually, I have 6 brothers, but one of them is still a baby. So my son has a lot of male role models. I have, my father is still around, my mother is still around, I have 2 grandparents who are still around, and overall, being a single mother here in Florida comes with a lot of benefits, unfortunately. So I really didn't have like a desperate need to try to get this guy to like me or to take me in and my son in. I really am looking for a companionship, someone to build with, someone to have that type of generational wealth that I would want for my son and his kids and their kids. So that's really my main goal of seeking out a husband. Now, I didn't come to get picked. There was a lot of great women out there who were interested in him as well, but I really was so confident in myself and what I had to offer that I took this leap of faith and put myself out there for a chance to get love for somebody who I had a crush on. It was really great to be around other like-minded people such as him, the production crew, the host, the other women there, the entire team. And I just knew, like, in that moment, once I arrived, that I was there to get what I wanted. And I was just extremely happy the closer and closer I got to getting that one-on-one time with him. Another thing that you guys wanted to know is, what was it like behind the scenes? Now, obviously, I can't give you guys too much details because we do have contracts and there are agreements between the production and the team as well as the cast. So I will let you know my favorite part of being on the scene of this entire set. To me, it was the beauty of the production team and how respectful, loving, attentive they were, not only to the cast, but just as a team. When Arlette arrived on the scene, everybody was so respectful to her and treated her just like a queen. And that made me feel very excited and more relaxed to be there. I was really just hoping to be, meeting my potential husband. And if we got that far, as far as marriage, of course, that I would be marrying into a family very similar to what they displayed on the set. So that I have to, give a round of applause for the team, just because they were just phenomenal. Everything went so smoothly. I have not a single complaint. There was food, there was snacks, there was drinks. Everything just went really, really well. And I was excited to be, again, around like-minded people with a vision, people with passion. So that was my favorite part of being behind the scenes, other than laughing and getting to know the women, seeing that love on the set just truly shine, and their purpose and passion for what they did was really just refreshing. Now I'm in the portion of the video where I would like to talk more about the actual date itself. Before I get into too many details, I did definitely do a reaction to both parts on my channel, just to kind of get where my head was at in the moment. But just to follow up with that, on some controversial parts of the day. The first one was the blindfold coming off. Now, I had only seen episodes where they had like a shade in between the contestants and the bachelor or bachelorette. And so that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. So I, just like everybody else, was very shocked to see that he had a blindfold actually on, and we were like out there for everybody to see. And it was just really exciting. Now, when he took the blindfold off, in my personal opinion, I loved that. The reasons I love that, which I mentioned on my reaction to the video, was because I was very intentional about how I dressed, how I looked, and the things that I said, just so that I can get what I came for, which was some time with a man who I saw great potential with. So a lot of the thoughts that I had are on my reaction videos, again, which you can find on my channel already. So a lot of you guys wanted to know about how I felt about his questions that he asked on the date. Now, a lot of these questions were not as typical as you may think for trying to get to know someone. I kind of understand his logic in asking these questions, but a lot of them took me off guard. A lot of them seemed very thirsty for attention in a way, like maybe he was seeking some type of viral moment, because he is also a businessman, which I didn't mind. I am very supportive of people who are very business mindset, so I didn't mind it. I mean, I can get it. Like, everybody wants to go viral. The benefits of going viral is tremendous for a lot of businesses. So I was very supportive of it, and I didn't throw any shade at it. I just answered the questions as best as I could. I was very genuine and very serious about my responses, and I wouldn't change a thing about anything that I said. So, of course, at the end of the blind date, I ended up winning that opportunity to get more time with the bachelor, and I was super ecstatic. After, a lot of people wanted to know what happened after we matched. Well, we decided to sit in on a filming of another episode that was happening right after ours. We also talked and decided that we were going to stay for the first date experience. That's when the opportunity was brought to us, and we both agreed to stay to do it. And basically, how that happened is he just pulled us aside, let us know his concept and idea that he had, and we were both on board. Now, this did happen kind of last minute because we didn't know who was going to win. So I had to make some adjustments and on some unexpected cost, which basically, I don't know if I should get into details with that, but I asked the bachelor up front. I said, listen, I wasn't quite prepared to pay a difference in the flight. Could you help me out in staying? You know, since we matched, I felt comfortable asking him. Since we were both very serious about dating, I felt very comfortable asking him, and he didn't mention anything as far as like feeling awkward about it until way after the fact of that happening. Now, he did get his money back. He did get his money back. So it wasn't like, you know, it was all for nothing. He did end up getting his money back for the difference that he paid for changing my flight. So at the end of the day, it really wasn't that big of a deal. And we both decided to stay, and we also agreed that we wouldn't discuss a lot of important facts or questions like during like the behind the scenes after the show, because we wanted to reserve a lot of those questions. We wanted to, I personally wanted to be more real and pure. So yeah, I was very reluctant to not only be a part of the audience and and seeing the production and how the shows are made, but I also was just very happy to be sitting next to the man that I had traveled and done all this stuff for. You know, it was very nice. Like we held hands. Like I even got like a little massage as we were watching the show. And if you know me, like massages are my weakness. Like I love a great massage. I get massages very, very, very often. I got a massage the day that of my date. The day before that, I got a massage in the morning, and I even got a massage after the following morning before the first date. So I'm really into massages. Like that's my go-to thing. That's how I like to relax. So it was very nice. Like at the end of the day, after the show, you know, I gave him my number, and you know, he left before I did. I guess he went to his Airbnb, and I stayed a little while to hang out with the cast and chat and see just being around all those like-minded people. It was just really refreshing, and I really, really enjoyed myself. So the blind date aired on October 5th, and the first date was the next day after that. So again, everything was short notice for me, and I don't know if it was short notice or if he knew ahead of time what to expect. But I guess he had some type of expectation, because that next morning he did have a training session. Apparently, I texted him the morning of the first date, you know, and offered to pick him up. And that's when I found out that he had a training session, and that he was going to be running late because he woke up late, which I didn't really feel any type of way about. I mean, my nerves were already going, and I didn't know, like, I didn't really know this guy, but all I knew is just from what I saw, and I was just kind of excited and nervous to get everything over with. So he declined me picking him up, and said that we would meet each other there instead. And that's when I just went ahead and pulled up to the Sneakerheads location, which definitely, y'all make sure y'all go visit them. Delicious food, steak bites, chef's kiss to the steak bites. Everything was reserved. Everything was super professional, clean and friendly. Once he arrived, obviously he had Capri. Capri goes with him pretty much everywhere because he is a dog trainer. So that's kind of like his way of advertising. Y'all was trying to get on him saying it was like an emotional support pet. But again, this man does not live in Arizona, and he is a bachelor. At the time I didn't know if he had someone at home that could take care of her. I didn't know any of that information. I just knew that he was a dog trainer and he had a training session that morning. So who's going to watch his dog while he's all the way in Arizona? I don't know. So obviously, the dog had to come with us, which it didn't bother me. The dog was very quiet and really out the way of everything. So I didn't mind. When he arrived, he was dressed in his work clothes, which I didn't mind because, like I said, I knew that he had come from this training session. He did want to leave and go and get like a clean shirt, but BM was like, he was not having that. He was just like, just leave the shirt on and let's move forward. He apologized and, we moved forward with the date. So yeah, a lot of y'all had a lot to say about the dog and saying that he should have left the dog at home. But honestly, if this was going to be my husband, like, I was happy to spend time with something that was also very important to him. That's his baggage. Like, he comes with being a photographer. He comes with dogs. Like, I come with a child. I come with long distance. So for me, that was a fair and even exchange, and I thought nothing of it. So anyway, the first very big controversial section of the date was the ex commentary. I had asked him a question about if he's experienced living with another female before. He expressed that he had, and then he went into a lot of unnecessary details about his ex, and it just wasn't what I was looking for. Like, I didn't mind it, but it was just I couldn't quite wrap my head around the fact that he had such a great thing and then he let it go. So most of the time he's talking, I just want him to just zip it so I can ask him what happened. I had that moment to ask him what happened, and then he explained that it was because he was grieving, which I've never experienced a loss like that, but I couldn't really understand how I would cope if the shoe was on my foot. I was not judgmental. I wasn't jealous. I think that it was nice to see him talk about something that he experienced. I admired the bravery. I admired the honesty. I don't believe that it is a good thing to be intimidated by another woman being a woman to her man. I've always been the confident type, and so I was happy that he got to experience love and what that felt like from a woman who genuinely loved him. Now, that's really just how I felt in the moment. Of course, in the moment, maybe my face changed. I don't felt like my reaction or how I was acting changed, but I was initially confused. So maybe my face did change, but it wasn't like in a bad, like grossed out type of way. It was definitely just because I was confused. Like, that's not what I asked. I didn't ask about no ex. I just asked about your experience, and I was kind of like looking more of like for a question that explained roles in the household, and that was pretty much it. So he definitely went a little bit too much in, but again, this kind of goes back to what I said about him trying to get a lot of viral moments. He is a businessman at the same time, so could have been for, that type of attention in retrospect. Another thing y'all said, he kept waving the knife around in my face. I didn't even notice any of that. I did not notice the knife being waved around in my face. A lot of y'all said he was being rude by chewing with his mouth open. How else were we supposed to talk? I mean, I'm a lady, so I'm not going to talk with my mouth full. I have etiquette, okay, as a lady. But how else were we supposed to talk? Like, how else were we supposed to talk? How else we were supposed to get to know each other? I thought the date was very real, how it would have been in real life, even without the cameras. Other people were also asking about that romance comment he made. And I understood that. It didn't bother me when he said that, because I understand what he means. He's a natural, like, romantic person. He just has a natural tendency. I didn't take it as a rude comment. I just took it as he doesn't have to try to be romantic because he is naturally romantic. That's just how I took it. Y'all was roasting him for doing that and saying that, but I'm a very understanding person, and it didn't bother me at all that he said that. I got it. I knew what he meant. We were here. So again, a lot of people were like, oh my God, the dog is at the table. The dog was under the table, not moving, not saying a word, not barking, not eating, not even drinking anything. I was very concerned, like, just because, typically dogs are not like that. So yes, the dog was there, but the dog was really not there. She was just so well behaved and very well trained in this type of setting. So it really wasn't nothing for her to be in the background of the date. She wasn't even there, to be honest. So not bothered at all. So the date ended on a very good note. We both wanted to see each other again and find out more about each other. So after the show ended, we said our goodbyes to the production team, thanked them, thanked the staff, talked to the staff a little bit as sneakerheads about any recommendations that they might suggest in the area. We both had different ideas on what we wanted to do. Me personally, I was concerned about the dog, so I wanted to be in an atmosphere where the dog could roam around, maybe. I don't know. Eric had a different idea, which turned out to be a great idea. We went over to like some type of mall. I'll link it below. I can't remember what it was called, but it had a smoothie place or juice place attached to it called Nectar, which I had never been to before. Fresh pressed juices, guys. You have to go here. I know there's several locations in that area of Arizona. I will link the one that we went to. Basically, on the outside of this juice bar, there was like little seatings, like an outdoor outlet mall. Very cozy. We got to talk a little bit on our way, to the juice place. I asked him more questions about his surrogacy journey. He got to see exactly how tall I was. I am not tall at all. So when he met me, I had on heels, and that's how he left me. And then the first date, like, I had on heels. And then so when we went to the mall, I took off my heels and I put on my Yeezys, which, yeah, if y'all seen the Yeezys, like, they were pretty new. I had worn them like maybe once or twice before that moment, so they were pretty clean and they went really cute with my outfit. I felt super fly with them on. I didn't get any pictures with them on with that dress, but trust me, I'm a fashionista. It looks good, okay? But we got to stand next to each other, like, in our normal heights. It was really cute. Like, he was walking, of course the dog could not stay in the car, so the dog was with us and went into Nectar with us and sat next to us in the little bench area as we chilled and drank our juice. We asked each other questions and got to know each other a little bit better. We shared some secrets and some different point of views on relationships. In that moment, he did let me know that he didn't want to feel pressured to do this all the way through because of the show. He wanted to make sure that he was doing it because he wanted to. So yes, it was a public affair, but I was genuinely interested in his mind. Like, I really wanted everything to work out for us. So I kind of reassured him in that moment that, yeah, so what? I did pursue you publicly, but now that we are here with each other, none of that mattered to me. It was like it never even happened. After it was over, like, it was like it never even happened. Like, yes, I knew and expected that, you know, people were going to come to my DMs and stuff after the facts once it was published. But like, in my mind, like, I got what I came here for. I'm now ready to move forward and start building, like, right then and there, like a true lover girl at heart. That's all I can say. But yeah, now, again, I wanted him to also be sure that he was not doing this for people. After he made that comment, like, he seemed kind of withdrawn a little bit, but maybe that was just him being tired. I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. Of course, after we drank our juice, we decided he just, you know, he wanted to go back to his room and go to sleep. So yeah, keeping in mind that, you know, he was up early, and then the following night he had to do our thing, like, and come immediately to the date. Like, I was understanding, and I was tired too. My flight was that same day of the date, so I had a few hours to kill before my flight. So I decided to go, after I drove him back to his Airbnb, I decided to do something. Anyway, like, before, you know, after he said he was tired, he wanted to go back to his Airbnb or whatever, we walked back to the car, which was an adventure in itself. Like, oh my gosh, we lost the car. Okay, on my app it was showing me where it was, but of course, like, I had only been in this car like 2 days, 3 days, 2.5 days, and I wasn't quite sure what it looked like. Not gonna lie. So even though we were, like, in the vicinity of where the rental was, like, I still couldn't recognize it, and we were pressing the button and stuff, and Capri was walking around, and he was very concerned about Capri because the asphalt was so hot. Like, I know that it was like 105 degrees when I was out there, and the asphalt gets even hotter than that. So as we're, like, looking for the car, like, he picks Capri up, and, like, we're walking around, and he leads us to, like, a shaded area, and then he's like, I'm just gonna go look for the car. And I give him my phone so that he can go try to, you know, use where I last parked map on my phone and find it. And so he leaves me with Capri for my first time, and Capri starts to feel like she was giving up for adoption. Like, at first she was cool, calm, and collect, but then she started to panic as he started to, like, disappear off into the distance, and she started trying to, like, pull away from me. Like, I had to straddle her and, like, really hold her down. I'm talking to her the whole time to try to, like, make her feel calm, and letting her know that, you know, her daddy's coming back. Like, I'm not gonna take her. Like, we're gonna just stand here. So whole time I'm consoling her, and she's like trying to escape for real. Like, I had to hold her back, otherwise she was gonna be off into the parking lot. Eventually Eric pulled up, and, like, he put her in the trunk, and, like, he put, like, it's an SUV, it was like a Volkswagen SUV. I'll give you guys the details about it later. But he put her in the trunk or whatever, and we went off and started driving towards his Airbnb. And then, of course, in the car we're chatting up, not too much, because I don't know where I'm going. Okay, and the map is up, but I still don't know where I'm going. Like the streets are a lot different than in Florida. So I'm trying to also focus and drive safe because I got precious cargo. So I'm kind of driving slow and we chilling, listening to the music and just vibing out. It was really just a great experience at the end. And after, I dropped him off, like I said, I went to a little tea spot that was a little bit around the corner from where his Airbnb was. I got to have a delicious tea. It was called Regent's Tea. You guys have to try this. They do different teas from all around the world. Very unique selection, which I did do a review of on my TikTok channel. So make sure you guys follow me at my TikTok, which I will link here in the screen below. And like, follow, and comment. Show your support for me on that channel, on that handle as well. So yeah, I flew back home that day and everything was really great. Like we were talking consistently throughout the week. One thing that I had decided to do was send him a summary of a little bit about me, kind of like a little about me profile. I let him know some of the things that I like, some of the things I don't like. I let him know like things like my birthday, and just a lot of like basic information just to kind of get all that out the way, and in hopes of receiving something similar back, which I never received. He said that he loved that I sent him this little like mini profile about me and that he would read it and respond to whatever he wanted to respond to. But he ended up not even like really acknowledging anything that I had put inside of it. I later found out that he did note some of the things, but he didn't feel necessarily like he had to respond. So anyway, we were just trying to see where we could fit time in with each other, just because we are 3 hours apart, which is a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Like when he's ending his day, I'm going to sleep. When I'm starting my day and I'm already up, he's still sleeping. So it was just really kind of hard to kind of like find that balance at first in the beginning, and I think that caused a lot of stress and a lot of like concern just because it was very difficult. Yeah, we had agreed on like a certain way of communicating, which is just to reach out whenever we had time, like in our normal schedules of the day. He made it clear that he wanted me to feel comfortable reaching out to him whether I felt he was busy or not, and just to not like expect him to like just only reach out to me. And the type of person I am, I really do like to plan things out. So a lot of the time I would still reach out and ask him, hey, will you be busy at this time? Or hey, can we talk at this time? Which he didn't really like. He just kind of preferred that I just go ahead and call. But I wanted in the little, about me, I let him know I like quality time. I like to have set time so that we can actually indulge in conversation. So after he, expressed again that he would rather me just call him, it still kind of wasn't quality time. It was time, but it wasn't a quality time where we were able to like fully complete our conversations, just because like I said, the time difference was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Between my schedule, I'm full-time in college, full-time mother, full-time single mother, and full-time working. I was trying to get this guy to get to know me so that we can start building, because in my eyes, the seriousness of him not being able to find someone in his city, not being able to find someone on this dating show, not being able to find anyone on Instagram, showed me that he was very serious about finding someone that he could marry. So that's why I was also very serious in trying to like move things forward so that we can get to a point where we could start building. So on October 11th, we began discussing when we were going to see each other again. In that moment, I did ask him, do you feel like I should bring Azai? So, I mean, I gave him the option of me bringing Azai and me not bringing Azai. And we agreed that it would be more efficient to see how we were all acting as a family unit. See if Azai was, we were all fit and able to work as a family together. So we agreed that it would be a great idea to bring Azai along, and we began to start looking for flights and stuff, and throwing out the ideas and dates for flights and stuff. Also during this time, I'm receiving very, very valuable marketing advice about my Instagram and TikTok, which obviously I agreed with. Now, for those of you who know, I have been on a content creating journey for about 2 years now, maybe a little bit over that, maybe 3 years, like kind of not the first year of me not really knowing how to gauge it and me like dabbling in more than one thing at one time. Then like my second year kind of like figuring out my niche for what type of content, and then like this last, this year or with the last year, kind of fine-tuning those things and really starting to get more structure in what I wanted to do. So I was so appreciative of the free marketing advice and enlightenment that I was receiving from him. So I made a lot of changes to the way that I posted and things that were on a lot of my profiles before the episode aired, because obviously once it aired and my Instagram was posted for the entire world to see, we both knew that there was going to be a lot of views, and we wanted to monetize those opportunities, and that was very important to him as well. Now, because I am a new content creator, I didn't really have like a real way to to monetize this, but I still wanted to make sure that I gathered at least some strong audience for people who were actually interested in what I was doing beyond trying to see how things went in our relationship. So I think it was like on October 3rd, 13th or 14th where the video aired. And then a few days later, he purchased the flights for me and Azai to come out. Before the flight, we obviously had a more in-depth conversation about Azai's father and his agreement on Azai traveling outside of Florida. Now, there were some great points that he had made regarding him traveling, which prompted me to go ahead and update some of the paperwork that me and his father had already done. So in that instance, I felt that it was important to go ahead and get a more updated parenting plan, where we made a lot of necessary adjustments to the parenting plan that would not only allow me to travel with Azai, but also make it so that everyone would be comfortable in caring for Azai moving forward. I did share this information with him directly the day of, and in hopes of making him feel more secure and more confident and at ease about the situation, which I don't think it worked out that way. He wanted to ensure that I didn't feel forced, or that or that he was telling me to cut his dad out of the picture. It wasn't something that I was forced to do, but it needed to be done. It needed to be done. Like I had said before, Azai deserves high quality men around him, and high quality role models. So for me and his dad, making that decision was something that we mutually agreed on. So that paperwork was finalized like literally the day after the flights were purchased. We had a great time. Basically, I flew out there, I think it was like the 26th of October. And, a lot of people would say that's really fast time for him to meet my child. But again, these are two grown people who are looking for a long-term commitment from each other. So to me, it didn't seem too soon. And also to Eric, it didn't seem too soon. So with that mutual agreement, I really did feel comfortable, and I was trusting the entire process, to get my little family going. While I was there, of course, I cooked. I cooked lasagna. I cooked some chicken feta burgers. Some beef cheddar. No, it was chicken. Chicken feta burgers. No, it was beef. Beef feta burgers, lasagna, chili, fries. What are they called? Potato skins with the little pieces of bacon on it. He paid for all the groceries, so I really felt the need to cook everything, because I didn't want to make it seem like I made him buy all that food just for nothing. And I didn't know exactly what we were going to be doing or getting into. We really didn't have a lot of plans. I only knew about him having to work one of the days while I was out there. So I was kind of preparing to cook all of that in one day and then have it for whenever I got hungry. I didn't want him to feel like he had to keep buying us food or Uber Eats or anything. I'm a very self-sufficient person, and quite frugal, I might add. Again, I cooked not because I was trying to prove a point while I was out there. That's just something that I do. I don't necessarily like to cook, but when I do cook, I like to do it in a way where it's meal prepping, so I don't have to cook so much. So I did cook a lot of the things at the same time, and put them in these little containers, so that way if him or I was hungry, or as I was hungry, we could just grab it and go. So that's what I did. I'm all about saving money, and so I felt yeah, why not cook? He has a full kitchen. He had all the tools that I need. All I needed was the food and some time to make everything. So the first night was really cool. We chilled out. Didn't really stay up too late. I got there really late at night, so it was pretty much bedtime by the time we got there, as I went straight to sleep. This man had basically gave Azai his own room. Guys, I was so impressed, and I was so grateful. One of the things that I look for in a man is that he sets aside space for me and Azai in his home. That's one of the things that I look for, and he did it to a T. Azai was very comfortable in his room, and it just fit him so well. I was really happy, and I loved that. Just anybody that's really loving and that thoughtful towards my son just really just melts my heart. So I was very happy about that. I got to know him a little bit better, just by his actions, and more about what he did, and the way that his home was set up. It was very organized and clean. Now, one thing that was very concerning to me was his dog training. He not only trains dogs, but he also does boarding the dogs when people go out of town, which is basically what my aunt does. So she if their families go out of town, they basically leave them to a dog sitter, and the dogs sleep, eat, poop outside. It's a whole thing. So like my whole concern was that it was gonna smell like dogs in there. And did it smell like dogs? A little tiny bit. A little tiny bit. I'm not gonna lie. It smelled like a little tiny bit. Like, but you can tell that he had been cleaning. Everything was really clean. There wasn't no hair all over the place, which was also another concern. I even brought my own like lint roller because I was like, I'm not gonna be walking around the city with lint and hair all over me. I'm not gonna be that. Like, that's just the type of person I am. I like to look very clean and put together. And personally, I don't like walking around in public with dog hair on me. Like, I like dogs. I think they're cute. I think they're cuddly. I got along with Capri very well. Capri, even at her home, was very quiet and really to herself. Like, she wasn't like all up on everybody and out and about. Like, she was very much to herself. And I didn't really have to worry too much about getting dog hair. Didn't have no dog hair. I didn't even have to use the lint roller. I didn't even have to use it. He had boarded one dog was there while I was there, and it was great. It was really, everything really went really great. But he was very protective. I felt very comfortable. I felt very safe. I didn't really have to worry too much about anything really. One thing that I didn't really enjoy was the fact that he used my car the second morning I was there to go and do something which I wasn't even aware of. I was only aware of like the one day of dog training, and he took like a whole bunch of stuff where he went to this other dog training. The second day, I didn't know that he was gonna leave, and so it caught me off guard. Like, I was really looking forward to exploring with the car. And so like he didn't own a car. He doesn't own a car, which also, like, he told me before I went out there, which is why I ordered the rental to begin with, because I use a car at home every day. So I just knew that I would need a car and want a car, not only to have it there for security purposes, but also I've never been to Las Vegas before. So I wanted to explore the town and see some things that I never saw before and take a eye out. But I never got the opportunity to actually do that. Yeah, I wanted to be a supportive and as thoughtful as he was. So that's why I wasn't too upset that he used the car as much as he did, because he was being very supportive and thoughtful of us being there. We did end up like exploring the strip on the day that we did on the night of the Las Vegas trip, guys. The Las Vegas Strip shindig. Y'all won't believe what happened. So we're walking, and suddenly he crossed paths with homegirl. Yes, homegirl that he's currently with right now. And I shook the girl hand. She introduced herself to me. We're not going to disclose her name because obviously he wants it to be private. But yeah, in my mind at that moment, I'm thinking, okay, this is just a female that he's probably photographed before. I didn't make it a big deal. Like, I had on heels trying to walk in Las Vegas Strip, which he did say was a bad idea, but I insisted on wearing the heels. So I wasn't really trying to like talk too much to the girl, but he was trying to start a little bit of conversation with her in that moment. But obviously she was on go. She had just got off work or something. Y'all, I couldn't believe after he, introduced me to this girl, he didn't say who she was or like how he knew her. And I didn't ask because, like I said, I just assumed that it was a photography thing. It wasn't nothing, to be too concerned about. But why you introduced me when y'all knew y'all was ooh, dead ass wrong. So, but that was after the fact that I figured out what happened. Yeah. Talk about tea. Um, anyway, another thing that was a little bit concerning to me was um, while he was out and sending me these ideas of what to do for the day, he sent me something that was different from what he actually took me to. So that to me was like a little bit off. Like, yeah, he told me that it was something different that was closer, but he didn't give me the like, I just kind of had to be okay with it. So I had initially agreed on like the first museum, which seemed very much more interactive and fun. But then he ended up, like right before it was like time to go, he ended up finding a different one, which I think it might have been associated with cost, because the first one did seem like it might cost a little bit more because it was just a lot more to do there. And then the one that we actually went to was like a little bit shorter. So, I mean, that kind of threw me off a little bit, being that, he sent me something and then we ended up doing something else. But I was just grateful overall that he knew some spots to take me to and that we were able to have fun and do some things that Azai wanted to do too. And then kind of get him like, having fun. We also went to like this like little outside mall thing again, where it had like a playground, which was really cool. I can't even remember what that was called, but that was really fun. Yes, we did go hiking the following morning of our arrival, which was great. We got to see beautiful views. We got to run around and work out. That was part of my little workout. So I didn't really have to go to the gym too much while I didn't go to the gym at all while I was there. But I did work out a lot with his eye, plus the hiking. So I did, your girl got to stay fit. So got to do that. And he brought up the idea of going to church on that Sunday, and then, possibly going to dinner afterwards or at the end of the day. And which I like that idea. I don't go to church often. I have been in churches before. I do pray. I do have my own set of beliefs when it comes to that. I was really excited when he brought it up because I felt that it would bring us closer together. But because that morning, he decided to go do something else in the rental. He ended up coming back to the house late, and we ended up not being able to go. He wanted me to meet some of his friends, which we ended up not going to because of whatever reason. So it was just like a lot of empty planning, which I'm a planner. Like I'm not really used to things like just kind of like just happening. So that kind of threw me off. We ended up never going to dinner. He never took me out or anything aside from the Las Vegas Strip. We went to the Bellagio when we did the Las Vegas Strip, and that illusion museum thing, and then the little park thing we did. But we never really had like a moment like to ourselves. There were moments there where he would just kind of disappear and I would have to like text him and see if he was okay. While I was there, I did try to stick to my normal schedule that I would do at home. So as I, was going to bed a little bit early in his time, but in my time, he was going to bed on time. So like his bedtime at home is 8. So he was going to sleep at 5 there. Or 6, you know what I'm saying, around 5-6:30, because that was his normal time at home. And because we weren't going to be there forever, I wanted to make sure we still had that structure and routines that we normally practice at home. So a lot of the time where he was still energized and taking time to himself, where there could have been opportunity for us to talk, he would just kind of just separate from me, and I would just kind of just get myself together for bed, and text him, make sure he's okay, if there's anything that I could do for him, because I just didn't know where he went. His house is like semi big, so I didn't want to just be walking around aimlessly. And he has a visitor there, some type of roommate or best friend or whatever. So I didn't want to just be walking around aimlessly, like trying to figure out where he was. So there was like, while I was there texting him, which I don't know, I didn't really too much like that. I did want to have more time to talk to him and get to know him better, like on a more personal level, but we just never really got that real alone time together. He was very thoughtful though. On the Sunday, he offered to pay for a massage for me, and while he took care of his eye for an hour. So I did go and get a massage. Massages are my weakness, y'all. Massages are my weakness. So I was very happy to get a massage. I know the entire massage experience. I knew exactly what I wanted. And the massage place was very nice. Basic, it wasn't like, oh my God, spa, but it was definitely very nice. And I enjoyed myself, and he did cover the cost for that and also took care of his eye. I guess they had some time to bond where he was able to clean his eye's teeth really good, which I'm super grateful for. He was able to bond with his eye and teach his eye a lot of new things in that short time frame. And I did trust him with his eye, and I felt very comfortable leaving him with him just because I seen how they were together, and his eye really just enjoyed the entire experience. I wanted to show my appreciation towards him and just be myself. I did ask him several times, like, about my tattoos, how he felt about my tattoos. Before I even flew out there, I showed him all the tattoos all over my body. His words, "I'm hot." So he was okay with the tattoos. There really was no conversation about, oh, are you gonna get them removed? Like, no, it wasn't like he was trying to force me to get anything off of my body. He liked it. When I went there, he mentioned nothing of it. So it wasn't the tattoos. At the end of the day, the day before we left, he did pay for the rental, not the rental, but the gas for the rental that he used. He restored it back. He also paid for the Ubers and stuff back to get our flight. Every Uber, I didn't have to spend any money for real on anything while I was there. So obviously I was super grateful for that. And yeah, I had a really good time overall getting to know him. At the end, it was a little bit sad. It was a little bit sad leaving him, just because I had such a great time and I felt so comfortable in his home, and I could really see myself being there full time. And so that was my experience pretty much of the first link up with him outside of the first date. The big question is, are we still dating? Hell no, we not still dating. Y'all was right. Okay, congratulations to the very observant audience members and very intuitive supporters of the channel. You guys were very in tune with how our personalities clashed and saw before I did that it would not last. So no, we aren't together, and no, we are not friends either. And so now I will get into how we ended up ending our journey. So basically, I came back home. We were still trying to find out more about each other, talk more, but just the timing was not aligning, y'all. It came to a point where I was asking him, I was like, how do you feel? Like, I was asking him, I was like, how do you feel our communication is? Like, do you feel like I'm talking to you enough? I'm reaching out to you enough that there's no way we can improve the path that we're on. And he said no, everything was cool. Like, he felt like we were doing our regular, you know, unforced conversations. He didn't want anything to like be arranged or planned out. He wanted it to be more natural, and that was our natural approach, so he was okay with it. All right. He asked me, how did I feel? This was just like a few days after we had come back, and he asked me, how did I feel the conversations were going? And I mentioned to him that it still felt like it was a speed date, which to me meant that I'm trying to give him as much information as possible in a short amount of time, because we didn't have quality time set aside to talk. It was really just me reaching out whenever I could to talk to him. He didn't really do a lot of calling for me, and that was kind of like a little bit of a red flag, which is why I asked him that question to me up front, just because it was a lot of only me just reaching out via phone and trying to contact him. So yeah, that kind of started the drift of things. What I did forget to mention is that on the way to the strip, we had a conversation about what we felt like was most important in a relationship. I asked him, do you feel like trust is more important? Do you feel like communication is more important? He told me he felt like communication is the most important. And I told him that trust is the most important in my idea of a relationship. And the reason for that is because we can talk all day. If I don't believe what you're saying or trust what you're saying, or feeling comfortable in letting you lead the way, then what you're saying is not going to be meaningful to me. So that's why I was trying to explain to him, I have to be able to trust you. And after I said that, he mentioned something about trying to distinguish how communication and trust is different. He said that communication is me saying, this is basically what he said. Communication is me basically telling you that in this moment, I feel like we should be able to continue to see other people. And being honest is more about me. He didn't even mention anything about being honest. He just said he was just trying to compare how him saying that he felt like it was okay to date other people, because that's what would be naturally happening anyway if we were dating in outside of this whole experience, which was going public, that he felt that was a natural way of doing things, to be dating multiple people at the same time. And at the moment, I didn't really comment on it, because in my eyes, I didn't feel that that's what he was actually saying. I felt that it was something that he was just trying to give an example of. So though I felt like it was a valid example, I didn't feel as though it was something he was indulging in, or that he indeed wanted to do, like to date other people, at the same time. So I didn't know like that he was actually dating other people when he initially brought it up. So after we had this conversation about how I felt that we were still like in a speed date, because everything felt so like rushed, because it was like, okay, now I got to go to bed, or now I got to go to work, or now you got to go to bed, or you got to go to work, or you got to go do this, and I got to go do this, and I got to do this, and this homework, and that homework. And yeah, it was very, very difficult to find time to like really talk to him. And so that's why I asked him the question, because I wanted to see how, if he felt like we needed more time, then I wanted to figure out how I could get more time to him. But he said that everything was fine. And so that's why I didn't make any adjustments to any communication that we were having. In that same day, basically, we got to know each other a lot more after that. And basically, he wanted to know a little bit more about my books. There was a conversation about an NDA to be able to read one of the books that I have completed and that I wanted to make a second part to once I published. And he asked me, a little bit about it previously, and I gave him like a little synopsis. And, he was a little bit interested in getting to know like what the book was about. As he didn't really understand it, so he wanted to read it and give me his point of view on it. And I said, of course, I would love to share this with you, but you would have to sign an NDA. Everybody knows that NDA is a non-disclosure agreement, which is typical for any type of beta readers, which in that moment, I'm considering him a beta reader, because it's a project that I take very seriously and that's very near and dear to my heart. The book is called Tesla Why, and it will be coming to coming out very soon. And basically, he did not agree to signing the NDA, so therefore I did not send him the book. I later found out that he did not like that very much, that I wanted him to sign an NDA, and he said that he felt that I wasn't comfortable with him because I wanted him to sign the NDA. And I told him that, if family members have signed the NDA with no complaints to read my stories. So it wasn't just that it was directed towards him. It was just something that I normally practice with people who want to read my unpublished work. I felt that was normal. He felt that it meant that I wasn't comfortable with him. So that was something that was kind of a big deal in our finding out about each other. A lot of conversation happened that day, guys. I also asked about dating other people. I asked him if he was seeing other people, and yeah, he was dating other people, guys. He said that he felt that it was okay, and that, it was it's natural for his eyes to wander. And I felt a little bit discouraged at that, because the picture that was painted was that he wasn't able to find love in the city where he lived in, or online, or on, so when he mentioned this, I was kind of like beside myself, because there was a lot of time and effort that we had put in, and he met my son. So I felt like I should have asked that question a lot sooner than I did, but I didn't feel the need to at the time. Guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I did not feel the need to, because again, the picture was painted that this man could not find love. Okay, so did I think that, he wasn't gonna look at other women? I mean, I look at other women. But did I feel like he was actually gonna be like dating and talking to and trying to like date other women at the same time of doing this? No, I did not. I did not feel that way, guys. So that was another really big, like a really big deal in our conversations, because as soon as he said that, he asked me like, am I dating other people? And I was like, no, I ain't dating nobody. Like I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort to come out here to get you. Like I came out here to focus on you, like, and find more out about you. Not to be dating multiple people at the same time. That was my level of seriousness. My level of seriousness showing my ass on the show was to get a husband. Okay? I wasn't dating nobody when I went out there, and I wasn't dating nobody when I came back. Of course there were people trying to get my information and talk to me and stuff. But do you think I was responding? No. And if I did, I was like, no, like I'm pursuing something else at this time. Like, no. I didn't want to date nobody. I was really just interested in trying to get to know this guy because in my mind, he felt, I mean, in my mind, it just seemed like he was very serious in finding love, marriage, having babies. And to me, that meant focusing on one person. I was wrong. So after he tells me, that before the show he was dating other people, and then like a month or two prior he cut them off, and now he's back dating or whatever, and that his eyes wander or whatever, and he still sees that it's valid and natural for him to engage with other women while we are in this phase. BM had actually reached out to me a week prior, and I never returned his call because I just have been so busy with school and work and motherhood. And content. I never got the chance to call him back. And so I called him back because I didn't know, like, did something happen? Like, was there, are we talking about a follow-up? I didn't know what it was about, but I didn't want to reach back out to him since I did miss the call. It was just being polite. And then when I called him, he was just basically asking for an update. And so I was like, the update is that I'm finding out that he's dating other women, and that, he's able to meet someone in his city and all this stuff. And he was like, oh, well, let's three-way him. And I guess he was on the phone, he called him three-way and was basically like, talking to him in a way just to give him like some advice. And anyway, fast forward, the conversation went on, and basically I was trying to open up to Eric, to him on the phone, basically saying, I don't like when you say just call you, because I like quality time. I want time to be separated. BM was like, Shantae, you're being too nice. And I'm like, this is how I am. This is how I talk. Like, I genuinely am like this. I can't like make myself be into like a bossy person and be like, let's make the, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. So it was like, I'm being too nice. And Eric was talking about, he was like, oh, she knew that I was going to be, dating other people. Like, I told her that before, like when she came up here. And I was like, that's when I said, I didn't know that you mentioning that was you saying that you are dating other people. I thought that was like an example for the conversation we were having. And it was just a messed up conversation, and we all disconnected eventually. And then he texted me talking about I don't like how you ran to him and had him talk to me like he was my dad. And I was like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Like, I didn't even know he was gonna three-way you. Like, I wasn't even expecting that type of conversation. I thought we were gonna talk about a follow-up. And me just being me, he asked me how things were going, and I just gave him the just newly found information that I just found out. And I didn't see anything wrong with that. So, yeah, that kind of put a wedge in our relationship also, because I guess he might have felt embarrassed, or that I was running to the producer about like the whole setup, and wasn't what I was trying to portray. I just was talking a little bit too much, I guess. But yeah. Now, this day led to a lot of like deep diving and conversations. He mentioned that in his past, being in long distance, so this kind of like had to touch on our communication together. He mentioned that in his previous long distance relationships, things went smoother. He was more interactive, receiving and providing pictures to the person he was interested in. doing regular daily activities while on the phone with each other, going to sleep on the phone with each other, staying on the phone for 5+ hours at a time. And when I asked him originally, like, how do you feel our conversation, he didn't mention none of this stuff. He didn't mention wanting to do any of these things. And so I was really lost and thrown through a loop when he started saying like things went smoother. And I was like, that's the reason I asked you. I was trying to figure out, how can I relate with you? How can I get more of your time? Like, what is something that you are looking for? He was like, no, he didn't want me to change anything. He wanted to be more like a natural fit, which I get it. But like, if I don't know what you like, then I don't know what to give you or what to do so that this can work. But he didn't want me to try to make it work. He preferred the natural interaction without having to change anything. And I was just kind of like, it was a long misunderstanding in that conversation, because how I am, like, I immediately wanted to try to bring him peace. I wanted to be there for him. I wanted to support his ideas, and I wanted to be able to make that time for him. During me trying to learn more about him, I asked, what type of things make you happy? And he gave me this super long list of activities and gestures and things. And not once did he mention that he likes to stay on the phone for hours, or that he likes to, like, receive pictures and stuff, which I was still sending him pictures. Like, it probably wasn't as much as he would have liked, but like, I was still like sending things to him, and like, he wouldn't even acknowledge these things. Like, he would just kind of just like flip over it. And he said like, oh, I don't feel like I should like react to everything that you say. If I feel like have to be forced to react to what you send me, then that's just not my natural way of being. And it was a very exhausting conversation, because I wanted him to know that I was more of a giver, and he said that he was more of like a natural vibe. He wanted me to just listen to what he was saying without taking any action, which I get it. But in a relationship, if you want things to work, I felt like you have to do the work to make it work. So I was okay with that. He, on the other hand, was not. He felt that it was just supposed to be healthy criticism, and that no action, should be taken on these thoughts. After that conversation, things just went downhill, because the conversation kept re-arising, because I wanted to do better to communicate with him. I wanted to show him that I am able to do these things, that it's not unnatural for me to do these things, and that this was the type of clarity that I was looking for when I asked him how he felt about our communication. So things just really started to go downhill from there, and it started to feel more or less like he was trying to push me away rather than cut things off with me. I felt, in retrospect, like looking back at all the actions and all the things that he was saying and how rude he became towards me. He said a few condescending comments towards me, admitting that it was intended to be condescending, because he felt that I wasn't understanding his point of view. And he turned very rude towards the end. And again, in retrospect, I felt like he was trying to push me away, and I just wasn't allowing that. I was trying to, work through things, because I was looking at the bigger picture. But at the end of the day, he says that, he understands our natural flow, and that our natural flow is not something that he really likes, or is to his liking or standards that he's looking for in a woman. And basically, a few days later, he asked me, what is my gut telling me? He says, what is my gut telling me? And my gut was telling me a lot of things at that time. One of the things that it told me was that he wasn't really interested in me anymore, and that this wasn't going to work out. And then on the other hand, my gut was telling me to just let him lead and allow him to, direct our relationship and see how it's going to go. So it felt more leaning towards allowing him to lead than it did feel that he was disinterested. I felt that disinterested feeling was me starting to feel a little bit insecure about how he started to treat me. But at the end of the day, I felt more that I should just allow him to lead. Of course, I did consult with my brothers and, actually one of my brothers about this before, making any real response. Talking to my brothers is really important to me. They provide me with a different point of view on things. And so I love that I have their support, had their support throughout that time with The Bachelor. And it gave a lot of clarity. So I definitely wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and allow our relationship to naturally see where it was going to go. I made a little more effort to do things that I wanted to do for him from the start, and he felt like I was now putting on an act, or that it wasn't the natural flow. And then he said, one day I'm at work, November 8th to be exact, I'm at work and it's nap time, and I received this message from him basically saying that he didn't feel that this was right in his heart to continue to explore a relationship with me. At work, y'all, he sent me a text message at work talking about he want to break up. And I was like, the worst part is I'm a school teacher, right? There's a nap time. He broke up me during nap time. During nap time, the piano, they play Baby Genius, which is basically piano music. You know what I'm saying? Beethoven, a lot of different soft, melancholy music to help the kids sleep. It's also supposed to help them become geniuses because they're listening to this type of music that, those different tones that, anyway, y'all, when I tell you I was bawling, crying with the piano music in the background, I felt like I was in the scene of a movie. And you know what? This man had the nerve to ask me while I'm in the middle of crying from from the breakup text. And it's not even a breakup text, but it's just like an end-all communication text because we're just dating. He's not my man. We're not boyfriend and girlfriend. We're just dating. I thought it was exclusively dating, but it wasn't. So I'm finding out, that it's not exclusive and that he no longer wants to pursue anything with me. So of course I cried, y'all. Of course I cried. I literally cried. I was crying there for a good 30 minutes. Had to go wipe my face off. Eyes was bloodshot. Piano music still playing. So the piano music did not help because it made it even more sad. And then you know what this man had the nerve to ask me? Go ahead, guess. This man said, do I want to talk about it over the phone? Do I want to talk about what? You already done made up your mind, sir. No, I do not want to talk about it over the phone. Get off my line and carry on about your life. And we haven't talked since. No, I don't want to talk about nothing. Get off my line. Go on to the person that you really feel that real connection with, that's near you. Okay? He also threw in nonsense about how he felt he was only trying because he had already met Azai, which personally, how could you feel like you had to do anything for Azai? you spent time with him, that 1 hour alone with him on our trip. But overall, during our FaceTimes, you weren't very interactive with him. As I peeked over my shoulder and, talked to him for a minute or two during, our FaceTimes, but it was never really any like a lot of quality time with Azai. It wasn't a lot of investment in Azai. It wasn't anything. And in Azai's eyes, I never told him that, me and Eric were anything serious. In Azai's eyes, I explained to him that we were just friends. And so Azai had no clue that we were dating or like seeking to be in a relationship. So Azai felt that was my friend and that was his friend. And there really wasn't any real like connection being built with them. Yes, they talked. Yes, they did that hour of time together, but it wasn't really enough for this man to feel like he had to continue a relationship with me because of my son. Like, I felt like that was just an excuse to kind of take the weight off of him just really not being interested in pursuing a relationship with me because someone else had caught his eye in his city who he was more interested in and who he felt was more natural for his vibe. Now, let's compare. Since that's what we were doing from the very beginning, we were comparing women the entire time, me with his past. And so let's do it now. Let's do it now. Okay? So you got me, this beautiful woman. I come with distance. I come with a child. I come with tattoos, which may seem a little bit taboo in his culture. But if you had to choose, fellas, if you had to choose between, come on now, let's be real, leave it in the comments. If you had to choose between one beautiful woman, like I said, came with tattoos, a child, and distance, versus a woman with no child, no tattoos, and in your city, and was still like the same quality of woman, similar in a sense, I will say. I won't say we're the same, but you know what I'm saying? We both seem to be his type, right? Who you gonna choose? Who you gonna choose? Who you gonna choose? You want a soft life, right? You don't want to have to work too hard, right? So you probably gonna choose a female, a woman, whatever, that's no kids, because you ain't got no kids, right? She ain't got no kids, okay? So boom, check. She in your city. You mean to tell me she in your city and the other one 3 hours ahead of time in the future? Oh, number two, check. No tattoos. Oh yeah. She can show cleavage. Oh, I'm gonna be seeing cleavage all the time. Yeah. She ain't gotta cover herself up all the time. Yeah. Who you choosing, fellas? So, I mean, I was understanding after the fact, after he came out, you know what I'm saying? Congratulations, my brother. You did it. You achieved what you wanted to achieve this entire time. I am happy to be a part of that process. But baby, next time, can you maybe tell a lady, enlighten a lady, you know what I'm saying, that you seeing other people so I can see other people too. Yeah, it's been fun. It was a messy ending, you know what I'm saying? But it ended up working out for him, and it's going to always work out for you, girl. No shade. Best of anything and everything for that future and my future. Everything is looking bright on my end. I'm still very happy, as you can see. I don't feel any kind of way. I've healed. I know, y'all, that was a lot. A lot happened. It was a lot, y'all. Thank y'all so much for staying with me. Thank you for staying with me. So this portion, I want to go over some Q&As that everybody asked. Did we travel together? And the answer is no. Outside of me going out to Las Vegas and out to Arizona, we did not travel together. The next question is, do you think is the problem? I think both of us had shared issues. Me in particular, I can be accountable for trying to get everything so perfect and planned out and structured, where, you know, he could possibly have worked on his communication, seeing as he did think that was the most important thing in a relationship, but didn't actually do that well doing that. And yeah, I don't think that either one of us is a problem. I just think that, like, he insisted that our natural flow just wasn't right for each other. Another question was, how did Azai handle the end of communication? He handled it very well. All I said basically was to him, I was like, so you remember when we went out of town, we met a new friend? Well, he told me he doesn't want to be friends anymore. He said we live too far. And he was like, oh, well, how come he just couldn't wait till we come up there? I was like, he didn't want to wait. He doesn't want to wait. He wants to have friends that's in his area. He was like, oh, I'm going to punch him in his face. I was like, and you know, I explained to him, I was like, you know, sometimes you become friends with people and then you stop being friends with them, and that's okay. We can always make new friends. I'm not mad at him, and you shouldn't be mad at him either. And that was that. And then, like, of course he has those memories and stuff, and then he brings up, but that's the joy of having friends. They are supposed to make memories with. And I explained that to him as well. And that's really that. As I handled it way better than I did. Another question was, have I been married before? No, I have not been married before. I sure was acting like it though. I have acted like I was married before. But that's irrelevant. I am trying to be married for a lot of reasons which would benefit my child mostly, and children's children. And overall, marriage, I mean, does it have to be one of those marriages with the government involved? No, it can be a mutual agreement, a mutual commitment. It doesn't have to be like, you know what I'm saying, an organized thing. I am still seriously looking for love, and I don't know, you know, how it's gonna go. I know that there are a lot of people that could be in my DMs, which I don't know if I'm gonna respond to DMs, y'all. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm a little bit scared of that because, you know, you never know what you're gonna get out here. So bear with me. You may or may not ever hear from me again. If your message is in my request or in my hidden or whatever, you may not get a response. Like, you won't have to make yourself known. I am open to dating. I am open to exploring, you know, what love can be again. I'm healed, baby. I'm healed, and I'm ready to love again. Is a narcissist. By definition, narcissists are people who think very highly of themselves and belittle everyone around them. And I did not see those type of actions from him. So I guess my answer would be no. Are we still friends? No. Friends for what? I wasn't looking for no friend. I'm not looking for no friends. I'm looking for a man. So y'all know why we ended things. Do I regret introducing him to my son? No, I don't regret introducing him to my son. It was a mutual agreement. I potentially would introduce someone to my son if I am trusting towards them. If we both have that mutual agreement of seriousness level, then that's what will happen. And I won't introduce them as my lover, my boyfriend, or anything that's like very solid. In the beginning, I will introduce them as my friend and let their relationship build as friends as well. After spending time with Eric, do you genuinely feel like y'all still made a great couple? Yes, I still felt like we made a great couple. I think we both had so much in common, and I think that because we had too much in common, that kind of like put a wedge between us as well. But I do feel that it was something that could have been worked through had he really felt that our natural connection was to his standards. How did the distance work out? It was so hard. Like I said, the 3-hour difference, the 3-hour time difference, would not recommend if you're listen, if that's why I said, y'all, if you can't do long distance, if long distance is not okay with you, do not go on this man's show. Do not go on this show. If you can't work through it, and if you feel like, oh, somebody in your town gonna pop up that's closer, do not do the show. Why would you waste people's time like that? Why would you do that? So that kind of made me a little upset because, like I said, this man gave his preferences in the beginning in order for us to be casted. You gave your preferences. If you didn't want somebody that was way out Florida, he would have never put nobody that was way out Florida on that panel for you. I'm sorry. Like that made me the most upset. Because distance did matter. Because as soon as a female pop up in your city, that's up to your standards. Bye-bye, Shantae. It was nice meeting you. Bye. Thank you for your time and effort. See you later. But back home we got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like that. Last question I got. How do you feel about seeing his relationship so soon? It was expected. The man told me he was interested in somebody else, basically. He was hinting towards it, that he was interested the moment I was up there in Las Vegas. He hinted towards it. Like I said, I didn't know that he was actually doing that. But after I later just asked him straight up, like, are you dating anybody? And he said yes. I expected that, you know, he was going to be popping up in a relationship soon. So like I said, I don't feel any kind of way. The only time that I cried about anything was that day that he decided to break up with me or end things while I was at work. Because for one, why would you do that while I'm at work? For two, why would you do that while I'm at work? You know damn well I can't, excuse my language. You know I can't step out. You know I can't have no conversation with you until later. So you think I'm going to wait until later to talk to you on the phone? Boy, you crazy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for making it this far in the video. Make sure you like, subscribe to my channel. I am moving on, guys. I'm going to be starting to do movie reviews on my channel moving forward. Maybe some reactions. I am a pretty good movie critic, and I would love to share with you guys some great movie recommendations. So make sure you follow my channel, like, subscribe on all my other handles. TikTok, most importantly. Y'all know that I am a aspiring content creator. So I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying, put myself out there and do more reviews. Tell me what you guys want me to review next. Let me know what movies you think I should watch in the comments below. And let's get to it, y'all. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys stick around. If you are expecting any kind of other updates regarding this experience, please unsubscribe, because there's not going to be any more content unless I like go back onto the show, which I don't even know, because I'm kind of like, you know, just chilling right now, and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all, thank you again. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.